Hi all parents, this particular show is specially for you. I know you are struggling to choose a right board or a school, and that is what we are going to discuss today. We have Parmit with us today. She has almost 13 years of experience in education industry, and she is going to help us understanding what are the factors that are going to help you out while considering a right board or a school. Today's topic is choosing a right school and a board. आई नो इट इज़ वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस टू जब हमारा बच्चे बड़े होने लगते हैं 2 साल 3 साल जब बात करने लगते हैं देन देर इज़ अ रियली बिग चैलेंज कि अभी उसके लिए एक अच्छा स्कूल ऑफ कोर्स एवरी पेरेंट वांट्स टू गिव देयर बेस्ट टू देयर चिल्ड्रन एंड choosing a right school or a board maybe is a really confusing task. I think today Parmit is going to help us enlightening few moments about it.
So right, I think parenting is all about making the right decisions for your child, and selecting a school is one of the most important decision of a parent's life. With the education system changing rapidly in the past decade, it's become important and it's become, the variety, the plethora of choices that parents have, it's made the decision so tough.
And Parmit, you have almost 13 years of experience in this education industry, right? I just want you to share some experiences where you thought of this particular topic. Why are we talking about it today?
So, the most important decision of a child's life when you talk about a school education, because education is in itself one of the most important things. I believe it's important to look at an institute which is value driven. It is important to look at a school which focuses on nurturing the child, fostering the growth of the child, a holistic experience. And most importantly, these factors should include experiential learning with activity based learning. So like I said, there has been a rapid change and there are multiple boards to choose from, but there are a few factors that every parent should look at before making the decision, which is the most important decision of their child's life, which actually leads to creating a base for the child's life in the most crucial years.
So Parmit, what are the diverse options available in India for schooling?
So we are living in a generation where there are multiple choices to make, multiple options to make. Like I was saying, education being one of the most important things in a child's life, it is very important that we first understand the persona of our child. It's very important that we understand the interest of our child and then make an informed decision. Like with the multiple options, the board options available, like CBSE, State Board, ICSE, Cambridge, IB, it is very overwhelming for a parent. We do understand. But once you recognize what is the persona of your child, it becomes easy to make a decision. So before you actually start looking at schools, you need to do a little research and understand as a family what is that you're looking for in your child's school, what is the ideology, the pedagogy that you expect the school to have, basis the personality of the family, basis the personality of the child, the interests of the child. I know it's like a 2 or a 3-year-old. Ideally, as parents, what is our expectation? We should think about it. What is that we want the child to do in the future? Basis what we experience at home, we should make an informed decision.
Right.
So there are multiple factors that we should ideally look at and then take a decision wisely.
Parmit, every parent should actually understand the difference between all these types of boards before actually they go for or maybe they plan for their further education.
You're right. Before making a choice, it's very important for the parent to understand what board offers what. You read so much, and there is so much online, and there's so much learning that parents do before they actually come to the school. I would recommend, with the plethora of boards, with the variety of different options that they have, we should first start with, like I said, understanding the interest of your child, understanding the family requirement, something as simple as understanding the employment of the parent. So if a parent is in a job where they relocate a lot, maybe in the state or at international level, they should then take decisions accordingly before even enrolling their child in the school. However, I would like to highlight something where changing from one board to another can be done even till grade 8, where a little assistance, a little guidance can be done from the school level, and it is okay to change the child's board from one particular board to the other. Now, the education system in India offers boards like CBSE, NIOS, the state boards across different states. We have ICSE, there's Cambridge board, and the IB curriculum. So the international curriculum has just started and come into India a few years back. Every board has its pros and cons, but basis the personality of the child and the parents, we should make the decision. If you have to start with CBSE, which is one of the oldest boards, it's the Central Board of Secondary Education. It is a board accepted all over India, and majority of the schools have CBSE as a choice. So if you're a parent who is looking at relocation and across the India, then definitely CBSE can be a choice, because the curriculum followed in most of the schools would be the similar lines. It is always said that children who opt for CBSE do well in engineering and those exams. Now, the reason being, these examinations, the pattern of learning and the examination pattern is similar to the CBSE curriculum, is designed by the same board. That's why children find it a little easy to appear for those examinations. However, the reference books used by CBSE is of NCERT. Now, it is very difficult to upgrade a whole set of books from time to time. So, the progressive approach that is required is not as high as the other boards which are available for children now in India. And CBSE as a curriculum is more theory based. The examination pattern is more summative in nature. So the exposure, the experiential learning is something that is lacking at this point of time. However, the board is looking at and re-looking at things and trying to change the whole way the learning will happen.
So this CBSE board is particularly for convenient travelers, the parents who are traveling across the states. I think it will be easy for them also, as well as their children also, to adapt, right?
Yes. So for children who, parents who move are on transferable jobs, yes, CBSE somewhere would be the right choice. However, there are other boards that we can look at. The second one which I would like to talk about is the ICSE board. Again, one of the most recognized boards in India, and it has come from the Cambridge system of education. So we Indians tried to set up a similar process, and it was ICSE board which evolved out of that, the Indian School of Certificate Education. So ICSE as a board, there are a variety of subjects to choose from. ICSE as a board, again, majorly available in all the states of India. And the best part about ICSE is the learning process is a combination of summative and objective based learning. There is a lot of focus on English in ICSE. English literature is something that they focus on as a board. Like I said, it has emulated from the Cambridge education system. So the language part is focused on highly. One thing about ICSE which some parents and some children find is that it's very extensive in nature.
Right. In studies also parents complain that there is a lot of homework or a lot of...
Right. So It is extensive in nature. However, when you make the choice of your school, the pedagogy of the school, the methodology that the school opts for, if it is right or if it is more experiential in nature, the child will be able to definitely cope up with the extensive curriculum that ICSE offers. Again, a child who has appeared or studied in the ICSE curriculum finds it easy and seamless to appear for the examinations, Indian examinations that we have. The 11th and 12th are definitely a seamless entry for them because they've learned and studied most of the curriculum that our state boards offer.
So I have seen a lot of competition among students also who are appearing for this ICSE board, and the parents are also putting a lot of pressure on them. So is it right?
So yes, definitely, like I mentioned, ICSE is an extensive board, but it also focuses highly on all the streams, focuses on development of art skills, focuses on development of science, math. So it's again related to the methodology and the pedagogy of the school that makes a lot of difference. Is the school referring to only theoretical learning, or is it a combination of theory and practical both? Because ICSE as a board recommends using theoretical and practical learning. So CBSE is a government body governed by the government and set by the government, wherein ICSE is a council board, and they emphasize a lot on a combination of theoretical and practical learning. And even though parents feel that it is very aggressive and there's a lot of competition, but it also prepares children for the future.
Right.
So yes, competition is important, and it's how we as parents and as a school guide children to take competition in the right stride. And it's never about winning or losing, it's always about learning the right thing, learning from your mistakes as well, learning every single day. So again, coming back to the fact that ICSE is a board which is all round in nature, and there is a balance of theoretical and practical learning both.
So in this particular board also we can find the same syllabus throughout the states, right?
Yes, so ICSE again, you will find the same curriculum across states, and they keep upgrading and are progressive in nature, as not as compared to the international boards which have just bloomed in our country. But ICSE follows pedagogy and methodology where they focus on making sure that children get the right knowledge. The next set of boards is the international boards, IGCSE and IB. Most of the schools offer IGCSE Cambridge board till grade 10, and then A levels and IB is a choice that children can make. Now, the biggest difference and I would say the strength of these boards is their practical approach of learning. They help children become more independent. The way of learning makes children more independent. They focus on theme-based learning, wherein children actually research, children learn by doing more as compared to the other boards that we have as options. The focus on sports, on arts is very high in the international boards, and the examination process also is more practical in nature as compared to summative learning. So the exposure that children get in international boards when it comes to learning by doing is very high, and they are very, very progressive in nature. So the curriculum keeps getting upgraded very regularly, and schools also adapt to it and teach learners in a very progressive manner. So international boards are definitely here to stay, and they are one of the best choices that you can make for a child, because Cambridge as a board now is widely accepted across India, and IB again has come up in more than 100 schools, and multiple other schools are also looking at it as a choice of board to give children.
So these two boards are widely accepted now these days, right? And then why there is less chance, or like parents are complaining that they do not get seats for their children?
The way of learning, like I mentioned, is experiential and activity based. So, the student teacher ratio is maintained at a very high level in most of the schools. Personalized attention is something that is important, and that's why schools which offer Cambridge and IB as a choice will make sure that they maintain that student teacher ratio, and that's why somewhere it is not very easy to get admissions in school which offer Cambridge and IB. So it is difficult, like you said, difficult. However, it is going to get a little easier because a lot of schools are going to adopt for those curriculum.
And I think these are price sensitive also for people.
Definitely. So that is one very, very important factor before you make a choice of school, and that is something that should be a part of the selection process for every parent. So curriculum is one thing, but affordability and fees is a very, very important aspect, and it should be taken into consideration.
So we discussed about choosing a right board. Once it is finalized, तो अभी next step है choosing a right school. So just guide us.
So तुषार, correct, जैसे अभी आपने बोला कि choosing a right board, I started by saying that it is very important to understand the persona of your child. So once you prioritize, once you have a perspective in place and you're clear in your mind, okay, what is that I want for my child, then you jot down a few potential schools and you basis what is that you're looking for your child in the future. You put down the list of schools basis your interest and your child's interest. So we have to focus on the needs of the child and then make a wise decision. However, there are a few factors which should be considered while the selection process is on, starting with a detailed research. So once you're clear in your mind that this is the way I'm going and this is what I'm looking for in my child's school, then you do a thorough research on it. You actually understand the pedagogy of the school, you understand the culture and value system of the school, because it's very important to believe in the institute where you're putting your child, to believe that what the school offers is similar to the value system that you want your child to have, okay, and that is how you want your child to grow in the future. With maximum hours that they spend in the day in the school, it has to somewhere be in sync with what our thought process is, right? So the ideology definitely has to be what you as parents, or as parents, our parents feel that this is the culture that I want my child, or this is the value system that I would want my child to have. Again, because it is about spending the maximum hours in the day. Safety and security, a very, very important factor in most of the international schools today. It is also important to understand what measures the school takes for the safety and security of children. What are, simple things like the CCTV footages or the security that the school has, and is everything in school infrastructure wise child centric in nature. So these are small things but needs to be taken in consideration, and once you visit the school you will definitely get an understanding of the same as well. Coming to the extracurricular activities that the schools offer. So holistic education is something that is very important in today's time, and extracurricular activities along with academics play a very, very important role. So once you've decided on the curriculum, that's the board of your child, for your child, you also look at what are the kind of activities that the school has, what is the kind of facilities that the school offers, and then make the choice. Going forward, what universities can the child go to? So when you talk about universities, it's also related to the results of the school. So it is important to do a little background check on what were the results in the past few years. Obviously you'll not probably get the actuals, but just a little gist and understanding will help you make an informed decision. Is the school preparing the child to enroll in universities? Because with the busy schedules that parents have nowadays, it's important that there's guided learning that happens at the school level. So, counseling children for the right universities, counseling them from the very early years about their skills, about their interests, about what are the kind of subjects that they can look at to enroll in the university of their choice. So this kind of preparedness is something that you should look at, and when you interact with the counselors in the school, the principal of the school, I'm sure they will be able to give you an understanding. So again, and location, a very important factor. Transport facility, how far the school is, do you want your child to be spending that kind of time in the transport facility, or are you comfortable with that when it comes to sending your child to the right school? So these are some things that you really need to consider. These are the factors that you need to consider before you make the right choice of school. And definitely one of the most important thing that you should look at is the fees. And it's not only about the fees for the next academic year, it is about the next 10 years of your child's life. So it is important that you do your logistics accordingly. You can expect a certain percentage increase in the school fees, and this factor definitely plays a very important role in the decision making. So once you know as a parent that this is the budget that I have set aside or aligned for my child's education, it will also help you narrow down the potential schools or list of schools that you would want to visit for your child.
And along with the fee structure, I think we should also have a buffer for the additional expenses or maybe extracurricular activities for your children, right?
Absolutely. So a very important point here, that along with the school fees, there will be other ancillary and additional fees that will come in. So you need to calculate and accordingly decide if this is right for us as a family, or this is right for my child. Because yes, we want to give them the best, but we also have to do the right calculations, and it's not only calculating for the next 1 or 2 years, but the next 10 years of our life. So basis that, it will help you narrow down and make the right choices.
And I think it is not just pushing hard and give your child the best, but I think what we have best, and just match up with whatever factors you have just told, and the combination of it can actually help a parent to make a decision.
So the fact is, I will not say you will have 100% tick mark on all the points here, like research. Once you research, everything is not going to be 100% fitting in right. But if most of the things as per what you think is that you want to give your child, definitely you should go for it. So I would like to summarize this by saying that very, very important to understand research on about different schools, about the curriculum, about the pedagogy, the culture of the school, the extracurricular activities, the student-teacher ratio that they have, the results and the university placements of the schools in the future, safety and security, and definitely the fees. So once you have considered these 9 to 10 factors and understood, it will help you, after having a clear perspective, it will help all parents to make the right decision and right choice for the child.
Yes. And one major factor, I would say, I don't know like how right I am, but even if we have a tick list of maximum of this, but there are parents who get influenced by other parents, like iska bachcha ja raha hai to mera bhi bachcha wahi school mein jana hai. How right is that approach?
So social pressure is something that is there definitely, but it's about your child's life. So I would say, keeping the social pressure aside, always understand your child's needs and then make the decision, because it's about your child's happiness.
Right.
It's about your child's education. It's about your child's life and child's future. So we need to first prioritize and look at that, and then make the choice, and not look at someone else and make the choice for your child, because nobody better than you knows your child.
Right.
So yeah.
So just now we spoke about this culture. So it is really, really crucial, like what kind of culture the school has, and automatically जब हम बच्चे को स्कूल में डालते हैं तो automatically वो आ जाएगा. So I just want.
So Tushar, every school, it has its own culture, and the behavior of the school staff, the behavior of people in the school, it actually reflects on what the culture of the school is like. There are schools which follow a little conservative approach. There are schools which follow the experiential and activity based approach. When you as a parent enter a school, there is something that you will feel, and I highly believe in that. What is that your child actually felt after they came there, or what is that you as a parent felt plays a very important role in the decision that you make for your child. Yes, the culture of the school, the values of the school is something that the child will take away once they leave the school after grade 10 or grade 12. So very, very important factor. It will be very evident from the staff, the teachers, the mission of the school. So it's important when you do your research, you also understand what is the value system, or what are the attributes that the school is looking at and is saying is a part of their system. So definitely that is what your child will also have.
Right. And also with these new updated curriculum which is coming every year, I would say, what about people who are not that educated but they still want to put their child or maybe children in this kind of new age school? So
right of education is for everyone, and definitely it is the growth of the child is the school's responsibility, as equally as it is the parents. So involvement of parents is important when it comes to the emotional involvement, when it comes to being there for the child. The presence is something that is important, and most of the good schools or the best schools in the city will try and do maximum in the school itself. Emotional quotient has become a very, very important aspect, and it definitely is here to stay and is going to be a part of the education system going forward.
Right. What about the parents who are working? Both the parents are working. How well managed the schools are with them?
So this is something, it's something the parent needs to prioritize and decide. I would not, we most of the good schools, again I would like to say, make sure that the child learns maximum in school, and international boards, like I said, focus on developing independent learners, so they do the learning on their own. However, parental assistance is always going to be important, and it is important that the child is a part of the child, the parent is a part of the child's growth, a part of the child's education, and the presence is something that really matters more than doing things for the child, because it's schools are not going to be assessing what the parent has done. They are going to be reviewing the learner's progress. So presence and helping and being there for the child, assisting the child, is what is acceptable.
Right. And one weird question may be, like, from when you should start this research?
When you should start this research, the more you research, the more you will know. The education system has changed rapidly, and it will change. Obviously, change is a part of life, and it is very, very important to be clear in your mind, clear in your head about what is your expectation. You can start your research as early as your child is a 1 year old, because definitely now schools start from a pre-nursery would start at grade 2, and it's very good that you enroll your child in a pre-nursery setup as well, because it helps the child to build on the communication skills, it helps the child to develop the social skills. And once you have a clear thought process, and once you all as parents, and once you understand your child's needs, you can definitely enroll the child in the right school.
So let's revisit the entire session we had, because it was really extensive. So I want few points to be noted for all the parents who are watching this. So can you just conclude this?
So parents, I would like to conclude this by saying, finally the choice should rest with the child. Until then, as parents, obviously, parents will facilitate the whole process, but make sure that you gauge and try and understand if your child is in a happy place, and that is the most important thing. That the school that you've chosen for your child, or the curriculum that has been chosen, how is the child adapting to it, and is the child happy at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Parmit, thanks for those insights, and let's move on to our next segment, which is called Swanky POV, and we have two guests with us, and they will be asking you a few questions, or maybe we can have a discussion over whatever topic we have today for school, right school and a right board. So
Sure.
hi Nishtha,
Hi.
welcome to our show today.
Thank you.
So Nishtha has more than 10 years of experience as an education counselor in this industry. And so Nishtha, as you know, we are discussing about choosing a right school or a board.
Right.
And I want you to talk about your experiences. Anything that you want to add on to what Parmit had covered in last segment.
Okay. So I think as she had already spoken about before going for a good school, selecting a good school or a good board, you should actually spend that much time with your child and understand what your child is, what kind of a nature your child has, and what do you feel after spending that time with your child as to what board is going to suit. Once you do that is where you can then go ahead and do a research on the boards, what you want to think of, and then you select a school according to the different parameters, what will suit your pocket, what kind of infrastructure you want, or what kind of school are you looking at when it comes to the curriculum and the co-curricular activities.
Okay. And as we discussed about IGCSE also, so I was doing my research before I putting my child in this school. I have been researching about why should we go for IGCSE. Is there any specific need, or is there any specific requirement for a student to go abroad after completing his education?
So I think this is basically a myth where parents again has a very less of information when it comes to knowing about the boards. IGCSE is an international school which is affiliated to Cambridge University. That doesn't mean that the child has to go abroad. Now this certificate what the child gets at 10th grade or at 12th grade is universally recognized, that is globally recognized. So whether the child is in India or going to go abroad, it's going to be recognized at each universities as well. But when it comes to child who has a mindset of going abroad only, yes, it's going to add an advantage to the child, because it's going to be an easy transition for the child to cope up with the kind of learning and the teaching pattern which happens in the international university.
So, like Nishtha rightly said, and we spoke about the Cambridge curriculum and being globally recognized. So, definitely a child who wants to go abroad, taking up a Cambridge is going to help add on to the exposure, the learning that the child is going to take up in the future. But if the child wants to stay back in India, it is recognized and certified by the Mumbai University. It is certified and recognized across the globe. So the child will definitely be able to apply, and in fact the learning that they've had in the IGCSE or the A-level curriculum, because of its experiential nature, it will be easy for the child to cope up with the learning processes in the future, which is immediately after their grade 12.
Right. So it's not necessary to go abroad after completing your IGCSE syllabus. Right?
No, no, not at all. The child can do very good in India as well if the child is taking up an international study. Yes, the child is going to stand out in front of the other kids, where the child will be noticed about the overall development, how the development the child has when the child is studying in an international school.
Right. And with all these international schools coming along with all this updated curriculum or skill set for children, I have also researched about some smart way of education. Can you just tell us something?
So nowadays, with the new art of infrastructure what schools have, so each and every classroom has a projector which is connected to the teacher's desktop or a laptop, and which is very helpful for the kids to have a new art of learning when it comes to technology, via technology. So I think yes, each and every classroom nowadays is a smart classroom, which really add-ons to the learning pattern as well as the teaching pattern what the international school, or you can say now the Indian schools as well, is opting for.
Okay.
So I would like to add here that with the way the education system is moving now, and infrastructure playing a very important role, the classrooms, the setup of the classroom makes a lot of difference in the growth and learning of the child's life. Definitely schools need to focus on digitalization. Schools need to start focusing a lot more on innovation, and it has to be a part of the day-to-day learning in a child's life. And yes, it is not in sync with the technology bit, but sustainability, teaching them about the importance of doing for the society also needs to be considered as an important factor in the education of the child.
Yeah, and you just now spoke about sustainability. I think it is really important to teach this generation like how our lives should be sustainable. So
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It is very important for a child to be a good human and to give good values to the society back, and that is actually going to make the child a good human being when the child grows up. So yes, these qualities, say like being respectful, being patient, being courteous towards others, is very, very important when it comes to bringing up these values in kids. And I think now schools are taking that extra effort in bringing those values to kids from the age 3 or age 2 levels onwards, which is really, really very helpful.
right. Now when we are talking about smart education, right? So what happens when parents are not technology savvy?
So, Tushar, it is very important to, technology, digitalization, very big words, and I think today mostly everybody knows the basics of maybe using a laptop or a phone. However, a combination is something that is important. So when we talk about schools, we should not deviate from the most important factor, which is reading, writing, and but yes, children also need to be ready for the competition or ready for the future. So starting at the basic level from the early years is what we can do with a limit in the timeline, because we also know the adverse effects of technology.
Right.
So a combination of that is something important. But as an educationist, I would always say that reading is the best gift that you can give your child, and inculcating that from the school level is something which is very important, because it will really help in not only building on their vocabulary but also multiple skills which is required for the holistic development, the creative thinking, innovative skills. And for parents who are not very technology friendly, like you just asked, it is also important to upgrade yourself and keep learning.
Okay.
So if you are expecting, or if a child is expected to learn something, definitely at the school level they will be taught basics, and I'm sure the parent also in their capacity should try and learn so that they are in sync with what the child is doing.
Right, because in COVID we have seen a lot of hacks. Students were way forward than their parents,
Yeah.
even than the teachers also. So that has become a really big challenge for entire education system, because if we talk about that particular time, like a lot of students have actually taken क्या बोलते हैं उसका advantage also, but a lot of students have just missed those 3 years of learning जो physical classrooms में था.
So I would not say that they've missed out on learning, but yes, they have missed out on the things like having a pure conversations in person, and getting their social development done. But yes, when it comes to learning, I think they have learned much ahead than what they were supposed to at that particular time. Because technology, like we said, technology has actually got into their nerves in those 2 years, and they are much more educated when it comes to learning about technology as compared to what we are currently. And the world has actually changed into a real-time technology world.
Right.
So yes, so they are at par with the change, I would say. So yes, they are learning.
They are
They
going
have
ahead,
learned a lot.
So definitely, COVID children, were learning from home, and schools made sure there was a complete transition, there was a complete change. Schools made sure that the learning doesn't stop, and overnight teachers got into the whole process of learning and started teaching from home. So it was a lot of hard work that went in, and I think that is something that is commendable. And it was successful. We've seen that yes, there will be gaps, definitely, because what they do physically in school versus what they learnt online, there might be a few gaps which schools definitely have worked on in the last 2 years, but hybrid learning is the way forward.
Right.
It is important with the fast pace, with the way things are going. Definitely there has to be flexibility, there has to be options that a child can choose from. A child who's sitting in maybe UK but wants to study in the best school in Mumbai, there needs to be that option available for the child, and hybrid learning is here to stay. And definitely, so we would somewhere, I think I also agree with Nishna that no, there wasn't a gap, or the learning didn't stop. The learning went on. Maybe it was just a different way of doing it.
Yeah, and rather we are now well prepared if COVID-like situation happens ever. Which should not, but now the education,
So it's all about facing the challenges and learning to get the best out of it, and the whole world did it. So kudos to our teachers, I would say. Yeah.
So thanks Nishta for coming.
Thank you, most
Hi Pallavi.
Hi Tushar, thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yeah, welcome. And just now we were just giving kudos to all the teachers, and thanks for coming over, because as we are discussing about the selection process, but teachers are the most important aspect of entire school, I feel कि उनके वजह से, because after getting selected, it is the entire journey which starts from a teacher, how they are teaching in school. What do you think?
Right. Firstly, I would like to say teachers play a very vital role, because children come from different families, different religion, culture, and when they come at one place, we all are one. We all are one. So teacher is a one person in the classroom. She will make feel everyone that we all are in the same pace, same space, and here on going onwards, we will be having similar things doing, inculcating values, right from values to studies, and lot many activities what they go through, and then we have a successful person. So I think when they enter the classroom, teacher is the first point of contact to the students to have a happy learning. As we say, happy learning is a thing to have in a life.
Definitely, I think the teachers, like you rightly said, are the pillars and but most important aspect when it comes to a school. They are the ones who deal with the children. They are the ones who play the maximum role in the growth of the child, in teaching the learner. So a happy teacher is a happy child for sure, and like she rightly mentioned, the culture of the school and the teachers of the school have to be in collaboration. So definitely the culture of the school is what will trickle down to the teacher, and that is exactly what will trickle down to the child as well.
Right. So, Pallavi, last few years you have also been dealing with all these parent meetings or one-to-one interaction with parents, right?
Yes.
So, I want to understand from your perspective, what is a teacher who is expecting from a parent? Like, what should they contribute to?
See, we expect a little contribution, जो मुझे लगता है कि सभी पेरेंट्स को करना चाहिए, और सबको जो स्कूल कर रही है बच्चे के साथ, उसके साथ 50% सिंक तो होना चाहिए पेरेंट्स का, सो दैट वो जो कोलैबोरेशन होगा, बच्चे का जो आउटपुट होगा, जो रिजल्ट होगा, जो ग्रोथ होगा, होलिस्टिकली बोलो या इन एनी इंटेलिजेंस यू कैन से, वो पेरेंट्स को भी पता चलेगा कि हमारा बच्चा कौन से स्पेस में बढ़ रहा है. तो पेरेंट्स का इन्वॉल्वमेंट होना फॉर नाउ ये जनरेशन के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है. तो पेरेंट्स विल आस्क ऐसे जो क्वेश्चंस रहेंगे कि मेरा बच्चा क्लास में क्या करता है, मेरा बच्चा बोलने में कैसा है, ऐसे सारे बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस आते हैं कि मेरा बच्चा घर पे फुल डे बात करता है, बट व्हेन ही कम्स टू द क्लास और शी कम्स टू द क्लास वो क्वाइट रहती है. ये फीडबैक एक टीचर देती है एक पेरेंट को. तो यहाँ पे बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस अराइज हो जाते हैं. तब पता चलता है कि बच्चे का एक डिफरेंट व्यू है स्कूल के बारे में, एंड वेयर द चाइल्ड इज़ मोर कंफर्टेबल, वो पता चलता है. तो यहाँ पे हम क्या कोशिश करते हैं पेरेंट को कि आप बच्चे को हम जैसे ट्रीट करते हैं, जैसे वी विल गिव देम अपॉर्चुनिटी कि आज तुम ये बोलोगे, आज तुमको वो करना है, आज हम ये करेंगे. ऐसे पेरेंट को थोड़ा कोलैबोरेट करके घर पे भी सेम सिचुएशन क्रिएट करके वो लोग भी उनको थोड़ा ऊपर ला सकते हैं. ये कभी कभी बच्चों को स्टेज फियर होता है, इंक्लूसिव ऑफ ऑल ऑफ थिंग्स. कोई बच्चों को ड्राइंग में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, तो ये सारी छोटी छोटी चीज़ों को लेकर पेरेंट को भी पता चले कि ये जो छोटी छोटी हमारी क्वेश्चंस है टीचर्स को लेके कि ये मेरा बच्चा क्या कर रहा है, तो ये चीज़ें हमको धीरे धीरे ओवरकम करने को स्टार्ट में ही हो जाएगी, एंड एट द एंड ऑफ द ईयर आपको एक अच्छा रिजल्ट मिलेगा. अ पावरफुल एंड इम्पैक्टफुल रिजल्ट विल बी अवेलेबल विद द टीचर एंड पेरेंट एज वेल. तो बच्चा जब भी नेक्स्ट ग्रेड में जाता है, नेक्स्ट टीचर के पास जाता है, तो एक जो प्रीवियस क्लास टीचर होती है वो नेक्स्ट क्लास टीचर को एक अच्छे से रिव्यू दे सकती है, और जो बच्चे पे काम करना होता है वो बच्चे के लिए भी टीचर उसको बहुत सारी चीज़ें एड ऑन बता सकती है, तो आगे वाले टीचर भी वो बच्चे को अच्छे से और पॉलिश कर सकती है. सो दीज आर द इंक्लूसिव क्वेश्चंस व्हाट यूजुअली मोस्ट ऑफ द पेरेंट्स विल हैव.
So definitely I agree with her that the growth of a child is a collaborative effort of the parent and the school, and both the parties need to be equally involved. So as a school we will want to identify the strengths and work on the weakness of the learner, but when a review is given by the teacher or when the teacher shares her feedback, parents need to be open to feedback. They need to understand that when they are saying something, it is for the good of the child, and then working with them closely at home, being present for the child on an emotional and a physical level will help in better growth in the future of the child for sure. So it has to be definitely a collaborative effort, and parents need to be involved with children, because with the generation going forward, the emotional quotient of children again is very high, and we've seen that in the past few years that this is something that is lacking, and but it is the most important thing. You need to be present for your child, you need to be involved in the day-to-day activities of your child's life, and that is definitely going to be making the child learn better, grow better as a human. And yeah.
Pallavi, just now you spoke about interest, right? तो interest जो रहता है बच्चों को, like I think it changes with the age, right? And there are a lot of parents who are impatient about it, or maybe they feel अच्छा मैंने बच्चे को फुटबॉल में डाला, 2 दिन गया, 4 दिन, he is not interested. But don't you think so? There has to be multiple attempts to it, or over the years?
डेफिनेटली इसमें क्या होता है ना, सी एवरी चाइल्ड विल हैव अ डिफरेंट टेस्ट एंड डिफरेंट प्रेफरेंस ऑफ देयर चॉइस. समटाइम्स वी आल्सो हैव सीन किड्स who don't like to do some basic craft and drawing activities, but some or the other that their child will perform outstanding in that thing. That doesn't mean that child likes that, but some kids you will see will be consistently doing same thing with grace and with a nice in a polished manner, जहाँ पे you can see कि ये बच्चा इसमें अच्छा कर रहा है. तो पेरेंट्स को भी ये नोट लेना चाहिए कि बच्चा ऑलराउंडर है, बट किसी ना किसी एक सब्जेक्ट में वो अच्छा करता होगा, तो वो एक्सेप्ट करना है. क्योंकि वी हैव सीन सच पेरेंट्स जो बोलेगा कि मैंने मेरे बच्चे को इतना प्रिपेयर करके टीचर, फॉर एग्जांपल वी हैव शो एंड टेल एक्टिविटीज बच्चों के लिए दैट गोज थ्रू ऑल द ग्रेड्स, आई गेस राइट फ्रॉम नर्सरी टू ग्रेड 10 दे हैव शो एंड टेल एक्टिविटीज, एंड देन दे विल हैव वेरिएशंस. तो बेसिकली आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट एज ग्रुप जो थोड़ा छोटा है, प्राइमरी एंड प्री प्राइमरी लेवल पे, जहाँ पे बच्चा घर से करके आता है, बट स्कूल में शायद टीचर को या दूसरे उसके फ्रेंड्स को देख के थोड़ा अनकंफर्टेबल होता है, एंड देन वो चाइल्ड अटेम्प्ट नहीं करता है. बट वी हैव ऑल्सो सीन जब टीचर उनको एनकरेज करती है कि तुमको बोलना है आज, टीचर विल गिव सम काइंड ऑफ रिवॉर्ड्स कि वेरी गुड बोलना है, गुड जॉब डन बोलना है. Nowadays children are more fascinating towards getting those stars and those smileys on their hands. तो ये सारे अटेम्प्ट्स करके अगर टीचर बच्चे को एक शेप में ला सकती है, क्योंकि हमारा रेशियो तो 1 child 1 teacher तो नहीं है, हमारा रेशियो मिनिमम 20-25 स्टूडेंट्स एंड 1 टीचर और मे बी 2 टीचर्स. तो यहाँ पे बच्चे भी ज़्यादा है, टीचर का रेशियो कम है, बट वी आर ट्रेनिंग देम इन अ सच अ मैनर एंड पुटिंग दैट ग्रेट एफर्ट्स फॉर द चाइल्ड्स डेवलपमेंट. तो यहाँ पे ये थोड़ा वर्क कर जाता है टीचर के एंड से. तो जब टीचर 50-60% पहुँचती है तो पेरेंट्स का काम इज राइट रफली 30-40%. तो पेरेंट्स को भी यही मैनर में बच्चों को ग्रो करना है या बोलना है कि तुमको ऐसे ऐसे करना है. तो आई थिंक दैट विल इम्पैक्ट द चाइल्ड कि मुझे ओके टीचर जैसे पुश करती है तो वैसे ही मुझे पेरेंट्स कर रहे हैं, बट उनको बर्डन नहीं करना है. वी हैव टू क्रिएट द प्रेशर बट डू नॉट बर्डन देम. प्रेशर एक मोमेंट तक जहाँ तक हमारा बच्चा वो प्रेशर ले सकता है, एंड ऑल्सो वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड कि मेरा बच्चा यही कर सकता है. जस्ट बिकॉज दूसरा बच्चा, मेरी फ्रेंड का बच्चा या मेरा नेबर का बच्चा ये चीज़ में एक्सेल कर रहा है तो मेरे बच्चे को भी यही करना है या उसके कंपटीशन में जाना है, ये माइंडसेट थोड़ा हमको हटाना पड़ेगा. बिकॉज वी हैव सीन in these days this young parents have this kind of tendency where they want their child to be excelled in everything,
right?
But यहाँ पे थोड़ा problem है where parents do not have time, lack of time. These things will happen in general life, but we have to overcome and just think about the child wellness.
So I'll give you my example. Last year in a summer camp, जब मेरा बच्चा acting school जा रहा था, like there was like 15 days का jungle book के ऊपर there was one small play they were having. So he was two and a half years that time. So every day he used to come back home and he used to act. I have become tiger today. I have become this one character. And when we went on a final day to watch that play, मतलब बोलते ना कुछ नहीं किया. मतलब वहाँ पे सब पेरेंट्स थे, सो एवरी चाइल्ड वाज सो ओवरवेल्म्ड कि हाँ सब लोग आ गए, तो एवरीवन इज लाइक सो डिस्ट्रैक्टेड. तो कुछ नहीं किया एंड ऑफ कोर्स लॉट ऑफ पेरेंट्स वर आल्सो डिस्टर्ब्ड कि अरे यार इतना करने के बाद क्यों नहीं परफॉर्म किया. व्हेन वी स्पोक टू दोस इंस्ट्रक्टर्स कि एग्जैक्टली क्या हो रहा है, देन दे टोल्ड अस कि डोंट वरी, एवरी सिंगल चाइल्ड हैड डन अ लॉट. कल हमारा जो फाइनल रिहर्सल था, you can watch the videos and everyone is saying their dialogues and the entire script was all good. So that's what I'm saying. It is not about कि हाँ मतलब कुछ टास्क दिया है या फिर is there if there is any activity which is given by a school, ठीक है, you don't have to do it 100%. If the child is making small efforts also, you should appreciate that.
Yes, definitely. Appreciation is very important. All human beings, I
Right.
think, want to be appreciated and motivated. They are small children. We need to help them, guide them, assist them wherever possible. Keep a positive and friendly atmosphere at home and in
also.
school, and that is definitely going to help us get happy leaders, a better future for our children.
Thank you, Pallavi, for coming over.
Thank you for calling me.
So, Parmit, how did you like about this Swanky POV section?
So it's good to have to your people from the same industry. I think all of us educationists today think on similar lines, and it's very important for each one of us that whatever we do is in the best interest of the child. And hearing from Miss Nishtha and Miss Pallavi, it's a lot of insight that has been added. And but yeah, I'm sure like all of us spoke the same language, and the happiness of the child is what matters the most, the learning and the happiness.
So, thank you so much, Parmit, for taking time out and coming over. So, it was really great. And what we can do today is, like, as a parent, if you have any questions, any suggestions, or any different thoughts over whatever we discussed today, you can just mention in the comment section, and maybe Parmit can help you guys solve your problems, or you can get in touch.
Definitely, always there to help.